Yes.
Welcome everybody this morning to our webinar with CK Solutions. Carmen will be presenting for you for those of you who didn't meet her at the customer event. Carmen's going to go over and give a demonstration of the automatic invoice recognition for SAP Business One. So I'm going to pop everybody on hold. There will be a Q&A session, sorry, not on hold, on mute. There will be a Q&A session towards the end, and I shall happily hand you over to Carmen.
Okay. So thank you. Thank everybody to you that you have the time and that you can join this webinar. I just showed 2 days before something about CKS DMS, and today I would like to show you a little bit more about the automatic invoice recognition, which is an additional module. So let's see the points that we have for today. The first one is again a small, Ken, you have heard it, yes, you heard it 2 days before, but I give a small introduction of CK Solution and our products. I will give a short summary of the last webinar because to understand what CKS DMS AP for the automatic invoice recognition can do, you have to know CKS DMS as itself. Then I show you another additional module, the CKS Web, in a really short way. And at last, the main point is CKS DMS AP for the automatic invoice recognition. So let's start. Just close it. Yeah. Yes, CK Solution is the company behind CKS DMS, and CKS DMS is a fully included archiving solution for SAP Business One. So it is an easy to handle solution, and it is an affordable solution, and it is only for SAP Business One. And as I showed yesterday, CKS DMS can archive outgoing documents from the system, for example an AR invoice. The outgoing documents will be archived when you add them in SAP Business One. So this was our archive. The second one was the out and back coming documents, where we use, for example, the QR code or a label code to be sure that when the document comes back, the system is able to assign it behind the right item. So there is a label code or a QR code in the layout. And when you send it to your business partner, and then it comes back, and then you can scan it or bring it into the system, and the system is able to assign it in the right way. And at last, we talked about 2 days before about the incoming documents, like for example a good receipt or an AP invoice, and for that we can also use the QR codes here in that example for archiving, for the late archiving, for example, when you have paper invoices. And I also showed 2 days before that we can archive documents with the CKS DMS ID. That means you scan a document into the system, or you bring it into the system in a digital way when you get it per email, for example, and then you use the CKS DMS ID for assigned documents behind an item here in SAP Business One. So this was what we talked about 2 days before, and of course I will not forget the email archiving. This was also something that we talked about on Tuesday, where you can archive emails behind business partners or directly behind a document, behind an AP invoice, for example, where you can archive the email as well as the enclosed documents. So, and this was what we talked about 2 days before. So if you want to know more about this, of course you can ask Signum. They can give you more details about our solution. Today we talk about the additional modules of CKS DMS. At the moment there are 2 additional modules. The first one is the CKS DMS Web. just a moment. Here we go. And this is a CKS BMS Web is a solution with that you can go into the CKS DMS archive without an SAP Business One license. So that means, for example, customer uses it that way, for example, that you have an employee that works on a machine and he needs some drafts or product pictures, images of the pieces that he has to produce. So for that he can use, for example, the CKS DMS Web because he has no SAP Business One. And then he can go into the CKS DMS Web and, for example, he can search for drafts. Then he will get an overview over the existing drafts. It's a process that I defined before. And then he can go into the CKS DMS archive and he can see the sales order as itself. He can see if there were more details. And of course he can go into the archive and can view the draft. He can also download the draft, for example. Now this is a possibility how colleagues can use CKS DMS or how colleagues can go into the archive without an SAP Business One license. It's not only for an employee who works on a machine who needs some drafts or pictures. It could also be for a financial consultant, for example, or salespersons that visit customers. So this could be a solution. But this is one of our additional modules for CKS DMS. And the important one that we would like to talk about today is the CKS DMS AP for the automatic invoice recognition. So what does it mean? Just imagine you get an invoice from your supplier. You bring it, an invoice like this, for example. It's a larger one. It's a German one. I have to say sorry for that. It's from one of our reference clients, but it is an invoice with a few of items. You see it here, some bread, for example, croissants, pancake, and so on. And you know, it's an invoice with a few items, and so the system has to find out who is the business partner and what are the different items. So just imagine you get an invoice like that, you bring it into the system, and the system created for you a draft. All the items are in this draft, the business partner is correct, the system was able to find base documents, and so on. So this is what we would like to talk about today. The automatic invoice recognition. You bring a document into the system, you start the recognition, and then a draft is created. So how can we come to that? Of course, at first you need a license for that. That's the first point. And then you can start to test your invoices. For example, I have here an invoice like this. This voice I brought it in the system by scanning it, for example, and then I start for this invoice the document recognition. And now there happen a lot of things in the background. The document recognition start, and the system just start to search for a lot of details. At first, of course, the name of the business partner, the location of the business partner. Is there a VAT number, for example? Are there bank data, reference numbers? What item is this one about, this invoice about? So with that, the system starts to read out all those details, and now the text recognition happens. It needs a few moments, of course, because it's very difficult to read out all the details. We work here together with a partner. This partner is called Iris, and Iris is specified in reading out such invoices. As you see now, the document is created. And what we see here is that the system was unable to find the item. So for that, he entered here a dummy. So at the moment it's white, but we developed further, so there will come a color behind that, so that you are also able to see it when you have a lot of different items that you see with just one view. Okay, here's a mistake. So the system was able to find the business partner. The system was able to find the unit price, but the system was unable to find the correct item in SAP Business One. So that's what it is about. The software read out the document, and then he searched in SAP Business One if he is able to find the correct partner for that, the correct item in that case. So what can you do now? Of course, it's all about the information in SAP Business One. That means the more detail you have in SAP Business One, the better is the invoice recognition. And of course, you can train the system. For example, there's no reference number here, but we saw in the document there was a reference number. So you can say, please document recognition correction. You go into the field that you would like to correct, and then you can say we have here a reference number, for example. And with that you can train the system. And then needed some time. And so with that, the system is able, if they get an invoice like this, again, if they get a new invoice, they are able to find the right position and the right information here in SAP Business One, in the invoice. So this is how you can train the system. Let's choose another invoice. For example, you have an invoice here on your desktop and you would like to bring it into the system. For that you can use the local archive folder. So I throw it in the local archive folder and the system is able to pick it up. I will show you the invoice that you see what we have here. And I will start, because it needs some time, the document recognition. So what invoice do we have here? We have here a service invoice with a license, with a maintenance, for example. So we have here another business partner. We have here some more informations like the bank informations. We have here the tax number, for example. So these are all a lot of details that helps the system to find the correct business partner. But we want to make this a service invoice. So how can we do that? You go into the business partner, into the business master data, choose the business partner, and then you see here in the user defined field, you can set the service invoice account, and you can set a description of the service account. And with that, the system knows, okay, invoices from BOPDF APS are service invoices. And what you have here, by the way, you can set the invoice recognition on test run or not. Test run means if there is nothing in it, it's always a test run. Test run means a draft will be created. So like we did it here before with the other invoices. If you say test run no, then you can bring an invoice into the system and the system will book it fix. Yeah. Normally the most customer want to have a look at the document and at the booking before they really add it. But we have also some customers who have invoices that come every month again, and then they say no test run, I book it fix. by the way. Okay, but let's go back to our service invoice. We told the system here, okay, it is a service invoice from BMS. Then I refresh it and the document is already created. So let's see. We have here the license. The system was able to find the correct price, no VAT in it, and it was able to find the supplier reference number, for example, and of course it was able to find the correct business partner. And there's one important thing that I forgot to say or to tell you in the first invoice also. Of course, we are talking here about an archiving solution. That means, of course, the document is enclosed. So with the right mouse click, you can go into the CKS DMS archive and you find here the document. Yeah, and of course, you can also, like I showed on Tuesday, you can also edit and add a new revision for that. These are the things that are possible. So this is how you can handle in the DMS, in our DMS solution, the documents. And here we have catchphrases is not a nice translation. It's a text recognition. So all the words that the system find, he brings in the system here, and then you are able to search for all these words with the SAP Business One search. So for that you can find documents, again, real easy. So, but this is something more details about the CKS DMS. When we go back here in our invoice, you see, of course, everything is correct in this way. And you have here, as I told before, about the incoming documents, the CKS DMS ID for connecting the document and the AP invoice here. And then, of course, you can add it. Okay. So, and by the way, I'd made here some changes. So if we go with the right mouse click back into the archive, we have more than, it's not finished at the moment, so we have more than one revision. So you have the possibility to see first revision, the original document, and then the changed document. It's not created as it's not finished yet, so it needs some time to bring all the information into the system. Yeah, but this is how CKS DMS works. We are able to save different revisions here. So this is for our AP invoice. But let's go back to our first invoice that I showed you. The invoice with a lot of different items and so on. Just imagine you get this invoice per mail and then you say, okay, I would like to bring this document into the system. Then you can use, of course, again, the local archive folder, desktop, save. And this invoice is really a special invoice. It's a very good invoice for the automatic invoice recognition, so that it's just need a few minutes to create the document right here. So, and just a moment, I wanted to show you this document again, because here you have another important thing that could be necessary, or that is a good possibility to make your invoice recognition better. You have here business partner catalog numbers, and I know it is some work that you have to do, but the more information the system has, I told it before, the better is the invoice recognition. And if you have business partner catalog numbers, the better will be the recognition of the items that are in this invoice. So let's go into this document. The document is already created and the text recognition is not finished yet. So this is really fast here in this case. And we can go back into the system. You see here we have all the items that were correct. Then the system controls if the quantity and the unit price gives the correct total sum here. If not, if there is a mistake, you will get an error and warning here in this place. The system controls also if all these sums is correct with the total amount that you have here. The system is also able, as I told before, to find the correct base document. Here I used the good receipt, but you can also use orders, for example. And the system controls it also line by line. So if you have more than one good receipt for one invoice, the system is able to find the different good receipts. Or if you use the purchase order, the system is able to find the different purchase orders, for example. Of course, again, you can train the system if you want to change something. Yeah. I'm in the good receipt. Sorry, let's go back to the draft. Of course, you can train the system if you want by saying you picked up the wrong number. Yeah, you can change it so that the system is able to find the correct number the next time. Then you scan in an invoice like that. The system finds the correct posting date and so on. So, and when you now edit, the system close of course, the purchase order or the good receipts that the system found. Yeah. And of course, again, you have here the document enclosed with the right mouse click. You have the CKS DMS archive where you can see the document and where you can see more details, where you can give a reference for it, for example, and so on. Now, this is how the automatic invoice recognition works. It's just all about the information in SAP Business One, and then you can use the possibility to create in the fastest way drafts here in SAP Business One. And this solution exists, of course, in that version that you can have it into your company, so that you can, of course, use it by yourself. That means you scan the documents, you start the invoice recognition, and so on. So then you have it in your company. That's the first solution. Yeah, that's the first possibility. And another possibility could be that it is partially outsourced. That means that you send the information to CK solution in the cloud, and then it is an automatic process, and we create the draft for you. But this is a full automatic process, so there's no one who looks through it or who can correct or change something. So you send us the information about the invoice, and in our CK solution computer center, the draft will be created and you will get back the draft. Yeah, that's another possibility. The third one is completely outsourced. Sorry, I talked a lot in the last few days. It's completely outsourced, but this is a solution for more than 20,000 invoices per year, and this is really a special solution where we have to talk about if you're really interested in it, because that's really special. That means that you will get not any AP invoice anymore. It doesn't matter if email or paper sheets, you will get no invoices like that in your company. You will only get the drafts, for example. But this is something special. Okay, so let's get a summary. You invoice recognition, in your company by using the software in the company, and the second possibility is that you send information to us and you can decide which invoice you would really like to go through the invoice recognition. So at last, let me give you a short summary. CKS DMS by itself, you saw it, is a fully included archiving solution. It's easy to handle, that what we talked about on Tuesday, and it is an affordable solution for SAP Business One. The CKS DMS Web allows you to go into the archive without a SAP Business One license. This could be for colleagues who have no license for SAP Business One, or for company foreign people like financial consultants or something like that. And of course you saw CKS DMS AP, where you have the possibility to automate your invoice handling and to create in a very fast way a draft in your system, which will speed up your company processes, of course, because it's not necessary to enter all the details manually. This is also for minimizing of the errors, no manual handling here, and of course it reduces process costs because everyone goes a little bit faster and easier. Okay, that's about CKS DMS AP. Just to give you a short introduction, and so I will go back to you, Diane.
Thank you, Carmen. Thank you very much. It was really a really good demonstration there. And thank you everybody for joining us today. If you do have any questions, you are now all unmuted to ask any questions to Carmen if you have anything there. No questions from anybody today?
No, not at the moment, thank you.
No problem. If anybody wants any further information, just give me a shout. Other than that, I'll give you a call in a couple of days and get some feedback for you on today's session. Thank you all very much for joining us.
Okay. Thank you, Carmen. It was very informative.
Thank you. If you have more questions, please ask. Okay, contact Diane or contact us. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a good time.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye, Diane.
Bye.